Hello, I'm Steve Bradshaw, the author of the recently released book, The Bluff City Butcher, a mystery thriller, forensic mystery thriller just released nationally. I am excited to read an excerpt from the book In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. The book was written in 1966, and it was banned back in those days because of some frightening terms used in the book and quite scary situation described by the author in telling the true story that occurred. I would like to read a few pages from this at this time relative to the banned book program. That Monday, the 16th of November, 1959, was still another fine specimen of pheasant weather on the high wheat plains of western Kansas, a day of gloriously bright-skied and as glittery as mica. Often on such days in years past, Andy Earhart had spent long pheasant hunting afternoons at River Valley Farm, the home of his good friend Herb Clutter. And often on those sporting expeditions, he'd been accompanied by three more of Herb's closest friends: Dr. J.E. Dale, a veterinarian, Carl Myers, a dairy owner, and Everett Ogburn, a businessman. Like Earhart, the superintendent of Kansas State University Agricultural Experimental Station, all were prominent citizens of the Garden City. Today, this quartet of old hunting companions had once again gathered to make the familiar journey, but in an unfamiliar spirit and armed with odd, non-sportive equipment, mops and pails, scrubbing brushes, and a hamper heaped with rags and strong detergents. They were wearing their oldest clothes, for feeling it their duty, a Christian task, these men had volunteered to clean certain of the 14 rooms in the main house at River Valley Farm, rooms in which 4 members of the Clutter family had been murdered by, as their death certificates declared, a person or persons unknown. Earhart and his partners drove in silence. One of them later remarked, it just shut you up, the strangeness of it. Going out there where we'd always had such a welcome. On that pleasant occasion, a highway patrolman welcomed them. The patrolman, guardian of a barricade that the authorities had erected at the entrance to the farm, waved them on, and they drove a half-mile more down the elm-shaded lane leading to the Clutter house. Alfred Stockling, the only employee who actually lived on the property, was waiting to admit them. They went first to the furnace room in the basement, where the pajama-clad Mr. Clutter had been found sprawled atop the cardboard mattress box. Finishing there, they moved on to the playroom in which Kenyon had been shot to death. The couch, a relic that Kenyon had rescued and mended, and that Nancy had slip-covered and piled with modded pillows, was a blood-splashed ruin. Like the mattress box, it would have to be burned. Gradually, as the cleaning party progressed, from the basement to the second-floor bedrooms, where Nancy and her mother had been murdered in their beds, they acquired additional fuel for the impending fire: blood-soiled bedcloths, mattresses, a bedside rug, and a teddy bear doll. Alfred Stockland, not usually a talkative man, had much to say as he fetched hot water and otherwise assisted in the cleaning up. He wished folks would stop yapping and try to understand why he and his wife, though they lived scarcely 100 yards from the Clutter home, had heard nearly nothing. Not the slightest echo of a gun thunder, of the violence taking place. Sheriff and all them fellas down out there fingerprinting and scratching around, they got good sense. They understand how it was, how come we didn't hear. For one thing, the wind, a west wind like it was, would carry the sound the other way. Another thing, there's not a big Milo barn between the houses and ours. That old barn soaked up a lot of racket before it ever reached us. And did you ever think of this? Him that done it, he must have known we wouldn't hear. Else he wouldn't have took the chance. Shooting off a shotgun 4 times in the middle of the night. Why, he'd be crazy. Of course, you might say he must be crazy anyhow, to be doing all that he did and all that killing. But my opinion, him that done it had it figured out to the final T. He knowed, and there's one thing I know too, me and the missus. We've slept our last night in this place. We're moving to another house alongside the highway. And that's the In Cold Blood, Truman Capote.